Hi, and welcome to the next video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about a few things that I forgot to mention in my prior video about what things shocked me in Japan. So again, got up my list. Let's go through it. So one of the things that right off the bat that comes to mind in terms of things that shocked me in Japan is the stamp. Now you're wondering what postage stamps? No. One of the things that they do in Japan to officiate documents, beyond just a handwritten, signature, is this thing called the stamp. What we would call a stamp, and I forget the Japanese term. I might put it up once I can find it. But there's this idea that that stamp is an official seal to whatever contract, document you're signing, you're trying to get signed, you're trying to get officiated, notarized, whatever. Whether it's a housing contract, a work contract, maybe setting up utilities, all this kind of things, medical insurance. And it's something you need to have. They will ask for it. It doesn't matter that we're living in this part of the century. It's just a normal part of life. And the good thing is you can go to most places and have one made. So you pick your Japanese kanji or a kanji that is the translation to your name, and either somebody makes it or you go to a machine that lets you pick them out, like I did. And I ended up picking, I think, a 2-character set that basically is just my first name, or maybe just like the first sound of my last name and my first name. I forget. It's been a while. I have it somewhere in a drawer. It's a good souvenir. And I picked it up at Don Quixote, I believe. Anyhow, that was something that I was told I needed to get so I can officiate any documents. And it was quite a shock to have to get this thing that I'd stamp with red ink or black ink to officiate something. So, surprise. Next thing. The year of the emperor. One of the things that you'll notice when you have any kind of documents is, besides the normal solar calendar / I believe Gregorian calendar that we've been using in most of the world for quite some time. In Japan, they use that, sure, but they also use Year of the Emperor. So anytime there's a new emperor, they will say, okay, this is year 1 of Emperor blah blah blah, and then year 2, 3. When I had arrived in Japan, I forget which year of the emperor was, but I think either when I left or shortly thereafter, it changed. So it went from year 40-something to year 1. Now, obviously it's a tradition, and it's not just the Japanese that did this. In older times in Europe and Greece, ancient Greece and Rome, a lot of the dating or record keeping, was done using the year of the king or the year of the Caesar or the year of ex-emperor or pharaoh or whatever. So I understand it. However, a lot of civilizations have moved forward to the solar calendar, which makes sense because it's easier to track. Oh, when this happened in this country, this was happening in that country, instead of, oh, okay, hold on, slide rule, gotta figure it out. So I thought it was an interesting holdover from ancient Japanese customs that they would continue to use this on top of an already kind of internationally recognized way to measure time. Next thing, public sleeping. And this is one of the things a lot of people like about Japan, is that Japan is so safe that people will sleep on the train, or maybe be in a bus stop and sleep, or in a lot of public places. Now, I don't mean homelessness. That's a different issue. I'm talking about, I'm on the way to work in the morning, I'm tired. I gotta get to the last train stop, or it's 10 train stops away, so that's X amount of time on this train line. Okay, I think I'll just take a nap. And people will do that. Here and a lot of other places I've been to, nobody does that if they're by themselves, because there's always the fear you're going to get robbed or worse. In Japan, it's a normal thing. You'll see people close their eyes. Maybe they're not fully asleep, although a few times I did catch people fully asleep. And after a while, I would do it every so often. I'd just kind of close my eyes, but I'd still be awake. And so it seemed like something that was pretty common in Japan, but still kind of a surprise to see people sleeping like that in public. Next thing. Hiking. I noticed a lot of people in Japan hike. They'll, maybe put on some nice loose clothing, maybe some hiking boots, or something a little bit casual, maybe even have a hiking, walking stick. And you'll see people hiking, whether it's up a mountain or just long distances, for miles and miles or hours on end. More impressive by that, or something that was more impressive was seeing people that were obviously retirees, 60s, 70s, 80s, doing this. People that could barely walk doing this. It was kind of a shock to see that even the older generation there is fairly active, more so than people here who kind of sit behind a TV or sit at home doing nothing. Japanese older people are active as heck. And in another video I'll talk about a gentleman who's a little bit older than me and the experience I had, taking kind of a sightseeing hike with him as well. I was pretty impressed by that. So that was another thing that shocked me over there. Now, in another video, I talked about the passing grade in China. Well, I found out something while living in Japan from Japanese locals. And these were from adults and kids who told me this. I forgot what the context of the conversation was. It might have been education and what a passing grade is in X country versus another country. And one of the students said in Japan, passing grade is 60. And that in years prior, this was an older gentleman who mentioned it to me, who's a local. He said it used to be 50 and then it got raised to 60. Now, I don't know if that means that if you don't try, you're going to get a 60. But the bar is pretty low compared to what I had experienced when I was a kid, where, you got less than 70 or 70 something, you failed. Whether you tried or not, it doesn't matter, you failed. So you're going to have to do it again. And what this gentleman and others had said, so you're at it doesn't matter if you're at college, it doesn't matter if you're a young kid. Obviously, there's definitely most people are trying to get trying to work hard and get a passing grade, Japan or China. I'm not going to say everyone's lazy, but there would be people that be pushed through the system, and the 60 in Japan was that number. Most people got it, whether they were lazy or not. Anyway, that's the end of this list. If there's anything else I didn't mention or, like I said, forgot to talk about, or go ahead and leave it in the comments below, and in a future video I might do a part 3 going over if those things shocked me when I was there. Anyway, see you guys in the next video.